Hey everyone, my name is Gilberto and we are back again. This is going to be week 4 of our NPCC battles. This is going to be an incredibly difficult matchup. This is going to be against Sharp Dress Gaming and the Minnesota Wild Charge. You guys can see he has a pretty scary rain team going on, and it's going to be really tough to break through. And also, this is going to have to be post-com. It's going to be the first time I'm ever doing this, but actually I did attempt to live record it. My capture card cut out a couple of times. I was getting flustered. It really was not the best situation at all. So let's just get straight into the battle. So here he has the Polytoad lead. Now I have seen him run eject button in the past, so I am trying to prepare for that. But also, I just kind of want to get a feel for what's about to happen. He could also just straight switch out, so I wanted to Volt Switch, get a little bit of momentum, go into Empoleon here. This was mainly to protect against Kingdra coming in and just trying to do everything, but I did catch him on the Toxic. This is a fully specially defensive Empoleon. Ends up doing a lot more than I would have expected, but I just take the opportunity to get Stealth Rocks off. Everything seems okay right now. He does reveal Earthquake, which is of course scary, but it's a perfect opportunity here to just switch into the Null as he goes for the Scald. So I guess he did predict me there. I'm just noticing now, I guess he did kind of predict me there. Goes for the Toxic, which I avoid, which is unfortunate, but that does give me an opportunity to go for the Sunny Day. Now, I did expect him, because I did go into Null, I did kind of expect the Kingdra to come in, so that's kind of what I was going with the Sunny Day there. And then, of course, I just switch into Harvey here as he goes for another Toxic. Should have expected that, probably should have gone into Empoleon, try to have a little bit of fun with the switches, but I didn't. He goes straight into the Alola Marowak, which I did expect. This is exactly the type of situation that I had the U-turn there for, and I actually have both U-turn and Volt Switch, and I just try to get into Rotom here. And here's where it gets really difficult. Here's where it gets incredibly difficult, because this Rotom Tangelacore, this Marowak Tangelacore makes it really difficult for my Rotom. And he just gets his rocks up as I go for the Dark Pulse, do a huge chunk of damage. But here we see it is a bit of a defensive leftover set, which is going to be incredibly difficult to deal with as the match kind of just unfolds here. But Dark Pulse is a really good middle ground play to protect against Tangela switch-ins. But not being able to freely Volt Switch really does hurt me in the long run. I do go for the Hydro Pump, which does a decent amount, but probably should have gone for the middle ground again with the Dark Pulse. Oh, actually, I guess I predicted that? Oh no, I think I'm just faster here. And now here is actually where my capture card starts messing up, because I'm getting incredibly flustered trying to do this live, and I know it's not an excuse. Of course it's not an excuse. He played incredibly well, but I'm kind of like half paying attention to the game a little bit. My attention is incredibly distracted right now, because I'm trying to figure out what is going on with my capture card, and I still never figured it out. But my only thought process here is to kind of U-turn parry between the Thundurus and the Victini here. And it just wears down my Victini. It wasn't really that necessary to wear down my Victini that much. I probably could have played it a little bit better. It was kind of a bummer that my attention was split that much, but either way, I don't think it was that huge of a deal. But here is where I finally decide that I need to cut out the recording, and here's where I think I make the biggest misplay. So, I go for the V-Create. Now this is a Fire MZ Victini with V-Create, right? And I try so hard to make a play here. In comes a Polytoad, does nothing, which of course should be expected. And I don't know, I kind of expected it to stay in, just try to eat hits. So I try to go for the Bolt Strike, and he switches in Tangela. Now, I am kind of dumb. I don't know. I go for double Bolt Strike to try to catch the Polytoad coming back in, and he just stays in. Now, I found out later, it's actually max specially defensive. I kind of expected it to be max physically defensive, so I kind of, that's my reasoning my best reasoning, I guess, for going double Bolt Strike. But had I gone for the ZV Create, I actually had a chance to take this out, or at least would have taken it down really low, and would have been able to pick it up with something else, and that would have helped me out so much in the end game. But unfortunately, this Tangela is still here, and this Tangela is going to be just a huge thorn on my side. As you can see, like, at this point, I'm just thinking, look, my best play is to just bring in my Florges and try to Toxic it. I kind of don't know what to do at this point, in all honesty. But I'm just trying to play this out. This Florges does have Wish, so my only thinking is I can outlast it. Obviously, it's going to be Eviolite. And then this thing comes in. This is going to be a little bit of a long part of it, but I do try to play some Wish Protect games. I am going to be that guy. But I am in a kind of a tough spot right now. I'm kind of in a tough spot. And giving this Marowak an opportunity to heal back up is going to just make this thing so annoying. Like I said, the Tangela Marowak core is brutal against my team, especially with Rotom being such a big part of my pivoting kind of playmaking core. And he just completely plays around me. As you can see, he's trying to scout me out. I go for the Hydro Pump. I guess at this point, I didn't even care whether or not the Tangela tried to come in. I just went for the Hydro Pump there. And eventually, I do try to make some plays. I go to the Null, expecting a Shadow Bone, which he doesn't go for. He just switches back into Tangela, which of course is getting so much Regenerator. Like I said, this is just getting to be pretty crazy at this point. As he knocks off my Eviolite, I don't know why I let that happen. As you can see, I just go for the U-turn. I should not have let that knockoff happen, but whatever, it happened. I don't know what to do. I don't know what to tell you guys. And now, here's where more shenanigans are just gonna happen. Oh, I remember why I stayed in U-turn. I think I expected it to Leech Seed, and that's why I U-turned. Obviously, not the best play on my part. But thankfully, rocks are wearing down this Marowak, despite it just staying alive and getting back recovery every dang turn. It's just kind of brutal in all honesty. But we can win this 1v1. It's not Thick Club. We can Wish up here. Eventually, I will wear it down, and eventually, I will win this one-on-one. As long as I can time out the plays around the Protects. You can see here I go for the Moon Blast. I believe later on I go for Toxic. If I can time out those plays with the Wishes and with my Wishes and my Protects on his Protects and his Fire Punches and Shadow Bones, I can make it out of this fine. It's just a matter of getting through this part of it. Yeah, obviously. This was a lot more obnoxious than I would have ever expected, but I just go for the Wish. We see how well I can take the Fire Punches. I don't think he's gone for Shadow Bone on my floor just yet, but I'm pretty sure that I can take that reasonably well. And here I just say, F it, I'm going for the Toxic, because these Protect games are not going to. They're just going to end up elongating this game so much more than it has to. And I kind of wanted to punish him going for Protect a little bit more than just like, well, I guess I'll just sit here and Moon Blast into these Protects. Oh, there you go. There goes for the Shadow Bone. It does about 40%, and then I get back enough with leftovers. And soon enough, guys, believe me, this thing does go down, I think, in this exchange in a little bit. But yeah, this is taking so much longer than I would have guessed. So here, yeah, I tried to make a little bit of a play. Yeah, here, I remember thinking that it was really important to try to heal up my Rotom. I thought I could time out Protect here. That's why I went into the Rotom to try to get the Rotom back up to full. If he had gone for the Protect, the Rotom would be at full. But he goes for the Shadow Bone. I'm only able to get up to about 2/3. And I do time out a Shadow Bone here, so I do eventually make some kind of a play that does end up working out. And this Shadow Bone into Null will end up being the last turn of Toxic. Eventually. Finally. After all of that happening. That was a lot longer than I thought when I started playing this thing. But here we go. He just goes for the sludge wave. He told me later that he thought that I thought he would go for the superpower. I wasn't terribly afraid of the superpower. In my mind, I thought it was much more advantageous to just Thunder Wave this thing, but he ends up missing a Hurricane. He ends up missing 2 Hurricanes in a row, and I'm able to get off 2 frustrations to take it out. And it's just unfortunate. Okay, now here's another big play. I was pretty confident that I could take a knockoff, and I do. I ended up taking a knockoff. It was a lot closer than I intended, but I do get the frustration off. In all honesty, I probably should have U-turned there. A U-turn would have been a lot better for me. But I do a chunk with frustration. I go into the Rotom. He gets the Moxie. Now, I assume I can take this. And look, I just can't take it. That was on me. I completely messed that up. I was Assault Vested, as you guys can see, and I just completely messed up. So at this point, I think it's over. I think I'm gonna get swept by this thing. And another silly move on my part, I go into Harvey, and it just gets taken out. And here's where I finally come to my senses. I bring in the Florges, right? And the Florges ends up scaring this thing out. I don't know if a +3 takes me out, but he clearly didn't want to risk it. And it was so needless, and you guys are gonna see just how important it is for later in the game. Not having the Thundurus or the Rotom, which again, completely needless. If I had known that this would have scared him out, I would have gone into it. But oh, I know why I went into the Rotom initially. I didn't realize that it was scarfed at first. So that's when I originally thought, oh, I'll be fine going into Thundurus. But that's actually when I found out that it was scarfed. I don't know why I didn't put it together that it was scarfed, but you know, what are you gonna do? And then this is where this is pretty much coming up on the end game right here, and this is super unfortunate. But I just try to keep myself healed up. You can see the Earthquake is not doing much to me at all, but I'm just trying to stay alive. I'm trying to keep myself healthy enough where I can win this endgame. I want this Florges to be able to take on the Kingdra 1v1, which has not even hit the field. I still don't know anything about this Kingdra yet, other than it's probably gonna do a lot of damage in rain. And here it goes for the Toxic. Here's where I started getting really concerned, because at this point I'm still fairly confident. I know my Empoleon takes hits from a special Kingdra incredibly well. I know Florges is in here taking hits like a champ. So here's where I really think that we can still make it out of here with a win. I switch into Griffin to try to get my HP back. He switches into Tangela, and this is where I can finally take the Tangela out with an Ice Beam. Finally, this thing goes down. I'm kind of relieved. Then this thing comes in, and again, I'm reasonably confident that I can take an Earthquake from this thing, but I'm not 100% sure. But again, I can't really risk it because I don't know what else to do. My really only option is to go for Scald here. I do. It goes down. That's finally this thing done, and it's a 2v2 at this point, I believe. I guess we'll find out in a second, but we finally get it down to a 2v2. In comes Kingdra, and I know I can't take hits this well, right? So my only thought process here is if I go into this thing, maybe I can try to 1v1 this. I can try to get a wish off as my Florges goes down. If I pass it back onto Griffin the Empoleon, then maybe Griffin can 1v1 the Politoed, or even take out the remaining HP on Kingdra. But as you can see, it is a physical Kingdra, and my team is completely unprepared for a physical Kingdra. It is a fully specially defensive Florges and a fully specially defensive Empoleon, meant to take hits from this Kingdra like a champ. And if you look at those calcs to see just how well Empoleon takes hits from a Kingdra, it is insane how well I take those hits. And if it was a special Kingdra, I had a chance there. I actually had a chance there. Especially if somehow I was able to pass off that final wish, I actually had a chance. But it never ended up working out for me. I tried really, really hard. I did everything I could to make it work out for me in that end game. And in all honesty, I totally messed up giving up my Thunderous for no reason. A free Thunderbolt late game could have been huge. It could have done that little bit of damage that would have somehow helped me win in the end game. I definitely did think that I had the matchup there, but I was woefully prepared for a physical Kingdra. He prepped for my team incredibly well. But either way, that was a lot of fun. Thank you guys so much for watching. We will have more NPCC battles really, really soon. But with that, thank you guys once again so much for watching, and I will be once again out.